as we continue on in these 6.2 notes, we now have a fraction, a rational number, being taken to a fraction power, to a rational power. So we have got to kind of like take this in steps and say, what can I do to help me be able to simplify this without a calculator? So you got a suggestion for us, Cody?
Yes.
Okay, what would you suggest?
You could put 16 over 25 in parentheses, and then put it to the 1/2 power, and then put like those box things in parentheses, whatever they're called, with a 3 to the 3rd power.
So basically, I think this is what you're saying, those box things.
Yes.
Like that?
Yes.
So in other words, we're taking and doing exactly what we did yesterday. We're rewriting it as a power to a power. Isn't that what we did yesterday? N is 2 in this one. M is 3. So remember we did that yesterday. So you can turn around and look on the front side. We really are just doing what we did yesterday so far here. Rewriting it. Don't worry about the fact. Don't worry about the fact that the base right now is a fraction. Say to yourself, if I have a fractional power where that numerator is greater than 1, and that's what's going on here, our numerator is 3. So when we have a fractional power greater than 1, that means I'm going to rewrite this, first of all, as a power to a power. All right.
Couldn't we put 16 to the 1/2 in parentheses to the 3rd, and then same with 25 on the bottom?
So you're saying, could we start it this way instead? So you want it to be 16 to the 1/2 power raised to the 3rd, and do the same thing with the 25, you said. Okay, whoopsie, I did that a little bit too early. Okay. So like this, let me see if I'm understanding what you want to do like that. Yeah, okay. What do you think, class? Do you think we could do it this way? Would this be another option? So what did Claire do in that one? She had 2 steps in one. Giving each one their own power of 3/2, and then also rewriting that as a, and basically that's what we're going to do now over here. Okay, so you skipped kind of like a step of, you kind of combined it all into one is what happened. So what really happens, Claire Ann, is what you're kind of doing is giving the 16 the 3/2 power right away, and giving the 25 the 3/2 power right away, and then we would rewrite those like this. Okay, so this is kind of like jumping too fast, but you know, if it works for you and you understand it, you can do it. So 16 to the 1/2 power is going to get each of these is going to get their own 1/2 power. So it's kind of like I'm taking, you know, so 16 25ths to the 1/2 power says give the numerator that power, give the denominator that power. And notice I still haven't done anything with the 3. All I did right now was worry about giving, you know, each of them their own. Now, what does 16 to the 1/2 power mean? We're not even going to worry about that 3 outside there right now. We're going to simplify this fraction that's inside our brackets here. So what does 16 to the 1/2 power mean, Noah?
16 squared.
The square root of 16
over the square root of
25. That's really what that means. So it's kind of like we're just kind of like processing through what are the things that we can do, and then when we do this, what does that mean? So now we say, okay, the square root of 16 is what? 4. The square root of 25 is 5. So our fraction became 4/5, but we still have to take it to the 3rd power. Yeah, we still have to take it to the 3rd power. Okay. So now we have to apply our quotient to a power rule. Quotient to a power rule, we already did it once. Give each of the numerator and the denominator their own exponent. So next thing we would do is we would say, okay, I have to give the 4 the 3rd power, I have to give the 5 the 3rd power. I think we're getting closer. What is 4 to the 3rd power? 64. Now, remember what I said too about, we're gonna end up with this fraction that we're gonna have to decide if we can simplify it or not, so we're gonna talk about that in just a second here. 5 to the third power, what's that? 125. Before I go and circle that and say that's my final answer, is it simplified? Can we simplify 64 over 125? Is there anything that goes into 64 that also goes into 125 other than 1? That won't get it. No? And how can we be certain? What did I teach you back when we were taking fractions to powers, and they weren't fractional powers? They were nice integer powers. Julia?
You say that if it can't be simplified in the beginning, it probably can't be at the end.
So yeah, if it can't be simplified in the beginning, if 4/5 can't be simplified, if 16/25 can't be simplified, if it can't be simplified before, then you get to count on that you're not going to be able to simplify it after either. You get to say, there's my final answer. Okay? Now, anybody somewhere along the way need to ask questions? When I come back here, I want to say about this. If you go straight to this, you better make sure you know what you're doing, okay? If you are going to skip these other steps along the way, you better make sure that you're really able to do that and lead you to the answer without the calculator, okay? So why don't you go ahead and try the next one on your own, see what happens. Go ahead, try that one, number 6. Remember what I said about, I think it's always worth doing this. Can you simplify 343 over 8 first? The only way you could is it 2, 4, or 8 going in both of them. So that's a calculator usage going. I'm not really sure if that's because you're trying to see if 343 over 8 can be simplified first. But remember, no calculator on the quiz, so you can on it now. Well, this one might be a little bit tricky, because this one might not be in the powers table. I'm not sure if we went high enough. Did we? So what is the third root of 343?
7.
7? Okay, thanks. Anybody's look exactly like mine. Same route I did. I'm not talking about just my answer. You did the same exact process I did? Yeah? No, 'cause there's another process you could use. This there. You can do the, oh, I forgot to do this part you're saying. I didn't do the 343 cube root. I see, yeah, you're right. I did not. Okay, and this would be the cube root of 8, and that would be to the 4th power. And then it would come over here, right? Okay? Anybody do this instead? Say, I have 343 over 8 raised to the 1/3 power. That raised to the 4th power. Isn't that how we started the last time?
That's honest.
Yeah, so this is another way we can go about it, and now we would assign the 1/3 to each of these guys, right? So we would say 343 now to the 1/3 power over 8 to the 1/3 power. That is going to be taken to the 4th power, and then we just basically end up with the same kind of, we end up with the cube root of 343 over the cube root of 8. That's going to be taken to the 4th power. And we still end up with then, we say this is 7, and this is 2. So which process is longer? The second way, isn't it? And so then now we have to give each of them their own power of 4, but either way, we will eventually end up at 7 to the 4th power over 2 to the 4th power, and we end up with 2,401 over 16. Can that be simplified? How are you feeling pretty sure of yourself that it can't be? Give me a reason why, Aurora.
7 over 2.
Oh, there's a pretty good reason right there. Don't even have to worry about back when there were all kinds of big numbers right here. If you got to this point, 7 over 2, it can be changed to a mixed number, but that would be useless to do, right? We don't want to change it to a mixed number, but 7 over 2 as an improper fraction cannot be simplified. So thus, whatever we get in the end won't be able to be simplified either. I love that part about it. If you get it simplified before, then you don't have to worry about simplifying it after. So, there's our final answer for this one. Okay? So again, we may not all go about these the same way because we just discovered there's both of those ways to do it. And the first way that I did it in the blue probably takes, well, not really, they're probably about the same. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it takes one extra step over the other way. Okay. Anybody have any questions though before you move on and say I'm ready to do homework? On this, do you have any questions on this? Okay.